¿Qué tal amigos? ¿Cómo están? El día de hoy tenemos una excelente conversación con Filippo, que es Technical Educator, educador técnico en la Fundación Web3, la fundación encargada de construir Polkadot, y vamos a estar hablando de todo el ecosistema, del rol de la fundación, de lo que hace él, de qué hace falta en Polkadot, el estado de Polkadot y más. Entonces, welcome Filippo. Thanks for coming. Today we're going to talk a lot about everything that's happening in Polkadot and around Polkadot. So thank you for coming. How are you?
Hi,
And
Mateo.
maybe you can introduce where are you at now?
Hi, Mateo. Thanks a lot for inviting me to this video call, and very happy to be here. Yeah, I'm I'm good, and yeah, close to Christmas, so a little bit more relaxed, also with the tasks that I have, and yeah, I mean, should I start?
Yeah. Well, maybe you can tell us about. I'm gonna get into what do you do in the Web3 Foundation. That if people don't know, Filippo is a technical educator in the Web3 Foundation. But before, I wanted to maybe let people know how you got introduced into crypto, and maybe jump into how you got into Polkadot or the Web3 Foundation. What came first?
Sure. Yeah. So I got into, crypto, blockchain, not very early. I would say like in 2020, and I got the like introduced to crypto. Oh wait, how to say like. So the first time I came to know about crypto, I was traveling to Malaysia. There was like on this documentary on the plane, and I was listening to this documentary. I would say that I mean, it was interesting, but it was not the thing that make me like jump into it. So a little bit of time passed. Then here in Switzerland, we have to say like we have the compulsory military service, and there was a friend of mine that told me that about Polkadot, that it was a good project and interesting to look at. So I tried. I also wanted to learn about blockchain first before like doing something myself. So what I did is I went to the Polkadot website, and then I went to the wiki, and on the wiki there was this course that there is a page where basically you can learn about blockchain, and most of the content is free. I mean, I would say probably all the content is free. And there was this massive course by 𝗟𝗲𝗿𝗏𝗿, and I took the course. It was a very long kind of course, 20 classes, more than 1 hour per class. It took a lot of time, but I really enjoyed it. And after that, since I'm coming from an academic background, I have a PhD in statistics. So I spent a lot of time in academia because I did a master before and a bachelor. So I was used to teaching and, like following students and stuff like that. So I thought this is really kind of cool stuff what 𝗟𝗏𝗿𝗏𝗏 is doing. I really like see I can do my contribution, and it's kind of exciting because it's it's a kind of like cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. It's very there's a lot to learn. So for someone like me that likes to learn and spend time to understand things, it's kind of a fertile ground. So it's I reached out to Bill. At that time, there was no open position, but I kept like looking at their LinkedIn page. And at some point, there was like an opening, and I applied. And that's how I get in the Web3 Foundation, which is basically the foundation that is behind the Polkadot ecosystem. I mean, the Polkadot ecosystem is a flagship project, basically, of the Web3 Foundation.
So
That's
they
how
were the ones
I got in.
they're the guys in charge of development of the project, but now that it's finished, what are their main tasks right now in the Web3 Foundation?
Right. So basically, the Web3 Foundation have different teams. And so there is, for example, the technical education team, and this team is basically responsible for, educating different level of people, from people that maybe entry level to some maybe enthusiasts, and up to like developers. And the technical education team is also currently developing some Substrate and Rust courses because like Polkadot, the Polkadot technology is based on Rust, and the Polkadot SDK slash Substrate basically is what is used to build Polkadot and parachains and everything, right? So we have this team where I'm currently working on. I'm currently a member. Then there is a support team. The support team basically is addressing tickets from the community on the Polkadot website. On the support website, you can open a ticket if you have a problem with tools that are supported by the foundation. For example, Polkadot.js, the staking dashboard, Ledger. If you have a problem with these tools, you can open a ticket. They're also like answering questions in the main social media channel if there are like people stuck with things. Then there is the research team, and this is like the research team is basically focused on in-depth exploration and covering protocol research and cryptography, game theory, and they also have key insights when there is like the requirement to modify protocol parameter. For example, we have seen in the past month the ideal staking rate that changed in order to accommodate the crowd loan unlocks and this kind of stuff. So it's very, very important team. Then there is the chain specification team. This is mainly focused on defining the Polkadot specification, so the chain specification. And the team actually it's very vital for developing and updating the Polkadot Relay Chain protocol and ensuring that it remains secure. Then we have the legal team. The legal team has been a little bit in the spotlight in the past year due to the regulation of the DOT token that morphed into a software. So very, very key role of the legal team of the foundation. Then we have the grants team that we know. We have the Web3 Foundation as a grant program that's currently now is shifting more to a new kind of redenomination of the program, which is the Decentralized Futures program. The grant basically is shrinking around 10 times. And we have this new kind of program that is this decentralized future. And we have a team that is dedicated to review application and make sure that the funds are spent for projects that aim to grow the Polkadot ecosystem. Then we have the finance team that support the foundation employees and also focuses on optimizing the foundation long-term financial security. This is basically the main role of the finance team. The HR and security teams, these are basically teams that are a little bit in the shadow because they don't have strictly something to do with the community, but more with the foundation itself. And the security team, the foundation it's a very important body that also administrates funds and stuff like that. It's important that stays secure, that the employees that are exposed to a lot of threats through the internet have different security kind of degree of security and countermeasures and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, these are the teams of the foundation and what the foundation basically does at the moment. I also wrote like an article that what I actually like following here because I recently wrote an article about on Subsocial about the Web3 Foundation teams. So it's kind of a good question that you asked right now.
Yeah,
that
sounds
I did this
pretty
work.
big. Sounds that it's a really big and complex entity. Do you know around how many people are participating?
Yeah, the foundation has around like 40 people I would say,
Okay.
like around 40 people. Yeah.
Nice. And
Yeah.
what do you do yourself in this Web3 Foundation as a technical educator? Like I think I've seen like your participation in the Polkadot Blockchain Academy, and like maybe you can tell us like what are some of the activities you do specifically?
Okay, yeah. I didn't participate to the Polkadot
No?
Blockchain Academy. I'm not teaching there. My aim is to take the academy as a student at some point, because I'm interested in, what I'm missing right now in my background is basically the deep level, the low level stuff, so Substrate and Rust. But currently didn't had the opportunity to take it, and my long-term vision is to take the academy. My primary responsibility at the foundation is, at the Polkadot Wiki. These are the source of documentation about Polkadot. This is actually what people usually use, or when they search for like question or like stuff, technical things. They go and read the wiki. So I'm maintaining the wiki and curating the content, trying to reorganize a little bit the structure to make it a little easier to navigate, since I'm coming myself as a user and not as a builder or someone that launched Polkadot. I was using Polkadot before joining the foundation. So I went through the whole way of interacting with Polkadot as a user. And I would say that was not a very easy path. Probably easier for me that I like to spend time, and coming from a academic background. So maybe I can, how to say, I don't get pissed off because I'm used to difficult and maybe complicated way of dealing with things. But from a mass user perspective, I can see there was a problem. So I tried to reorganize the wiki, still under reorganization. Also the design will change a little bit. But yeah, this, I would say, it's a big chunk of my work. Then I also developed the but contributed to the technical explainer videos on YouTube. This is a playlist that is mostly focused on the Polkadot.js tooling. And Polkadot.js, this is power user, developer focused tool that was the only thing around Polkadot at the start. So definitely not an easy tool for the masses. That's why also now in the wiki, for example, the Polkadot.js has been removed from the basic knowledge pages, and we left some more room to new tools that are more user-friendly, like Nova Wallet, Subwallet, Talisman, these amazing tools. But yeah, I contributed to these technical explainer videos. Yeah, of course, in order to do this video, I had to spend time to learn, the intricacies of Polkadot protocol and Polkadot.js, how it works, in order to be confident when I'm shooting the videos. I like to shoot the video kind of kind of freestyle and more relaxed. But in order to do so without a script, I need really to get confident with the tools. And also conducted a lot of workshops and talks, especially this year. I traveled a lot. I recently been to Buenos Aires to 𝗕𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗿 event, the Polkadot meetup in Buenos Aires. I also participated to the alumni meetup there. Nice. Before that, I went to Hong Kong, and there was this Polkadot days. Yeah, to Bali also. I think you are in Bali right now, or are you in there? Yeah. So I've been there at the Bali Blockchain Center. I met with the local ambassador, not local ambassador, but the ambassador that set up the Polkadot hub in the blockchain center, and meet the people of Mandala chain. That is will be this chain that we'll have to do with the government there and help to solve issues. It's substrate based, so it will likely be a Polkadot parachain next year. So really lots of stuff is happening. So I'm traveling around a lot to give talks and participate to events. I provided also support. I provide support for the Web3 Foundation. not all people at the foundation are technical. So, but they need to know how to use the tools and transfer dots or staking and governance and this kind of stuff. So I give like these trainings, and yeah, I also like very present in the social media, especially on Twitter. I saw from the start that the crypto community is very active on Twitter. So I thought this is probably a good place to have a social presence. So I try to grow my social brand, Filippo Web3 there. So I very active there and posting stuff when there are new news or like a update to the wiki and posting stuff there. So these are the main responsibility. Then there are like a lot of additional minor stuff that I'm doing on top of that. Yeah.
Nice. So a little bit of everything, but in general, focused on educating about the Polkadot ecosystem. So
Yeah. I mean, it's like sorry.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I like to use the tools of Polkadot. I mean, the tools of Polkadot, the Polkadot parachains, what they develop. Not all of them. I don't have time to test all of them, but
Yeah.
based on my necessity, I try to see what is already in house. For example, if I want to like swap stuff, I came to know about 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗿𝗿 early this year in March, and I already noticed how good it was as a product, and I started to use it. And then interlay for Bitcoin DeFi on Polkadot and redeem Bitcoin. Lugano is Bitcoin friendly. You can basically pay with Bitcoin in I don't know, like 1,000 stores. Most of the store now they accept the Bitcoin because they have this Lugano Plan B. So I wanted to test, like buy a pizza with Bitcoin, but using only Polkadot without any centralized exchange, everything within the Polkadot ecosystem. So I use, 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗿𝗿 to swap and to interlay Bitcoin, then send the interlay Bitcoin to interlay and redeem the Bitcoin and pay with Lightning in a pizza store. So it's like, I like to see what's good there. Also, I'm social media. So I know, like in social media, the problem right now also on X that you have people that they get their account maybe suspended, people that they are not able to recover the account or stuff like that. The support seems not to be really great as far as I know and speaking to people. I mean, Web3 is all about ownership, right? So social media on Web3, you technically, and I mean, you really own your content. And that's great. I mean, I thought, why not? If in the future, if something happens to my X account, I would like to have an alternative where all my content is kind of owned by me. Even if the platform is not as how to say, like even if the Web3 platform that I'm using is not famous as X, but at least it's there, and maybe it will become in the future. So there is this social platform, and I started to use it, and I think it's like a really interesting concept. You can even transfer ownership of your space and your post between accounts. It's I like to do so, and I think in my mind we should be the first adopters as people that are working on Polkadot. If we can use Polkadot related products, we can provide feedback to these teams, and the feedback is very useful to them because it grows the product, it makes it better and ready for the masses. So I think it's also this crucial aspect, and I'm doing this actively. I'm talking to the teams when I'm encountering stuff, I'm filing for issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's great. Definitely using the products and seeing it as a user point of view is really important. I also like to do that a lot, especially because that's the persons who you want to use the app. So if it's not easy to use or it's complex, then no one's gonna start using it. So that's really interesting, and I think you should encourage. We should encourage a lot of people to try to use Polkadot, because many people just stay stuck in just the relay chain and just like holding Polkadot, and not many adventure out. But that's some of the questions I want to ask you now is related to that. For example, for you as a technical educator and as someone who's exploring like the ecosystem all the time, what would you say is a highlight of Polkadot over other ecosystems, over other blockchains? What do you see that Polkadot has that other ecosystem don't?
It's very difficult for me to do a comparison because I'm not a heavy user of other chains. But I think I can say that it's very easy to transfer between chains, and of course it is very secure to do so within the Polkadot ecosystem. So we have seen like a lot of increase in cross-chain transfer lately, especially now that we have this decentralized exchange that seems to be very efficient, this 𝗕𝗲𝗱𝗿𝗍 exchange. We have seen like a lot of increase in cross-chain transfer, and also a lot of channel opening from this exchange to all the parachains. So this also, I think it's a good indicator that the system works and people are using it. So I would say one of the strengths of the Polkadot of Polkadot is providing this interoperability, and it provides in a very elegant way. It's a very elegant architecture that ensures that everything is seamless and also very secure. And on top of that, you are communicating between chains that they don't have the same logic. Polkadot is an heterogeneous sharded chain. It means that every chain that connects to Polkadot can have its own logic. So it's a very complex system, but the user experience is to transfer and do this cross-chain transfer is very seamless at the moment. And the user don't know what actually is happening, but there is this cross-chain messaging format that allows to communicate between chains that they speak different languages. So it's like it's a very powerful tool. And on top of that, I think also one of the main strengths of Polkadot is providing this security. So this, every chain is proof of stake. Most of the chains are proof of stake on Polkadot, and basically it's very important that the security of the chain is directly bound to how much economic, security is bonded on chain, and basically the relay chain has this pooled security where each chain connected to Polkadot is secured by the economy on the Polkadot relay chain. So it's a very elegant solution for a multi-chain future.
Yeah, 100%. And we've seen like the big narrative on layer 2s right now in Ethereum is, besides scalability, is that they share security with Ethereum. So definitely how it works in Polkadot is years ahead of this. So that's
they also
really
have the problem. Yeah, you also have the problem that these layer 2 are heavily centralized and not very secure. So each chain on Polkadot is technically a layer 1. So it's a full layer 1 chain. Of course, like now they're behaving more like kind of a L2 in terms of like users and stuff like that, because we are still in a phase of high building and deployment phase, and Polkadot how it is right now with like 50 parachain, where like most of these parachain have like a product. It was not like that in the last wave of adoption. So like it didn't attract the users in 2020, because in 2020 there was only the relay chain, and the main point of Polkadot is providing security and interoperability to other chains. So in 2020 there were no like parachain. I mean, there are no products. So it was impossible to get users But of course, this is changing right now because Polkadot now has a lot of chains and a lot of has been deployed and built in the past 2 years. So we will see I expect to see a lot of user coming to the ecosystem. We already seen a lot of increasing activity in the past 2 months. So I think this is a very positive sign.
Yeah, 100%. There was definitely, like you say, Polkadot did very well in the last cycle, but there wasn't like the full finished product like it exists now. So it will be interesting to see the activity. Like you mentioned, Hydra definitely. Well, Moonbeam was the top XCM transfers parachain, and now it was surpassed by Hydra. So that's really interesting to see, and hopefully
Yeah, but
we
I mean,
see
yeah.
we see more
I mean, it
activity
makes
like
sense.
that happening.
It makes sense. I mean, it's like Polkadot needs a good decentralized exchange because it's a multi-chain platform, and every chain connected to Polkadot has they have their own tokens. So it makes sense that a good DEX makes sense, and also seeing these DEX to get a lot of cross-chain transfer also makes a lot of sense. And I would say a DEX on Polkadot would probably be one of the chain that has most cross-chain transfer if it works as intended, because it's just a way to get tokens and go to parachain with the token of the parachain, and then people they go go and come and swap. So it's supposed to be a very heavily trafficked
Mhm.
region.
Yeah, 100%. And talking about transfers, what do you think about maybe creating, because Hydra is becoming kind of this, but won't you like to see something like the staking panel, the staking dashboard for Polkadot, but something for cross-chain transfers? Because, for example, in the Polkadot JS web app, we have like the teleport function, but it's mostly for the collective parachain and the asset hub. So it makes sense in my point of view to have like some kind of like dashboard where you have all the XCMs for all the parachains without having to go to a specific parachain to do this. But I think definitely Hydra, like you mentioned, is kind of becoming this like the first stop before you spread out into other parachains, no?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What you say makes sense, of course. Like having a dedicated decentralized, an application to send and teleport. I mean, actually, teleport is kind of this transfer from one parachain to another parachain makes sense. But also what you say, like a lot of people seems like they take their dot token, they go to Hydra and they swap it, and from Hydra they go to somewhere else. So I think this feature has been simplified a lot on their own platform. This cross-chain transfer, it's very reactive, very simple, UI, good user experience. So it works really well. So I don't know if it's worth to do a dedicated maybe portal for cross-chain transfer when you have when you see a lot of cross-chain transfer already to this decentralized exchange. It means that people maybe you don't want to go with the dot token maybe to another parachain. Maybe you will just want to swap in the in the middle. So you go to Hydra, you swap, and you go. Yeah, but definitely it is missing a general app where you just teleport between between chain. That's the only way that I know to do it, as you said, is with the Polkadot JS. But this is not really something the mass adoption wants. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not very user friendly. Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the problems with the user experience, I think, is, for example, also with I think this is a problem that's being solved, but for example, Binance allowed withdrawals from Binance USDT to the asset hub, but you have to first jump your dot from the relay chain to the asset hub to be able to pay for gas fees, so you can move that USDT. So what do you think we're gonna reach a point in time anytime soon that your dot or your assets on any chain just flow within the Polkadot ecosystem with you, without you having to being so manually like accept the transfer between each parachain, because it just creates like one more extra step that for example in like one blockchain ecosystems, like when you're in Ethereum, you're just using all the ecosystem of Ethereum. You don't have to be jumping. Of course, yeah, when we talk about layer 2s, it's another level, but when you want to use any app on Ethereum, you just use it without having to bridge to every app. And it seems like Polkadot right now is a little bit like that, when where you have to jump to each app by bridging to every parachain. Do you think a time will come when we see something like this?
Yeah, I think like in the future there will be more technical development. For example, there will be these accords, and these accords basically make sure that you can you know, you can use different different application. I mean, different chains, and make sure that these chains they communicate to each other, and for a specific feature, you know, like and this is you know, the final step of a fully trustless communication. Because right now, for example, if you want to send assets from one parachain to another parachain, you have a very secure mean of transfer, which is the cross-chain messaging protocol. Then you have the format. You know, you can write the message and communicate between different chains that they speak different language. So you have this cross-chain messaging format. But what is missing is that the interpretation of the message can be, you know, the message can be misinterpreted by the other chain. So with these accords, it makes sure that the interpretation is actually that the chain that they make this accord, they are bound to an accord, to you know, like opt-in treaty between chains. And I can see when this will be actually something real and deployed, we might see no more. So the whole idea is also to shift from a chain-centric perspective to application. So when people will start to build application that they use different chains, you know, on the background, but the user doesn't know, and these different chains have these accords, and everything is like fully trustless, I can see how people will not even know about chains. You know, they don't have to like cross-chain from one to another. The app on the top layer will make sure that everything is coordinated seamlessly, right? The people will not even know that they're using Polkadot, probably, you know, but we are still not there. So now it's still like a very early phase where there is still a lot of chain centricity in the ecosystem, and that's why, you know, user currently they still have like to cross chain from one to another, and this is necessary, you know, like because this different chain and different logic is not the same logic of and Ethereum is very different, right? Every shard is the same logic, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why you have these differences like you described before.
What other things do you think it's missing, or what things would you think that will help to bring more people into Polkadot? Like any like features or parachains or ways to use it?
Of course, I think people are talking about the killer app and all this stuff. Yes, I think a good app with an interesting use case might do the thing. I think Polkadot right now is also it's very it's a system that has been built for the industry. It's an industry grade kind of blockchain. So the idea is also that you have current big players in the Web2 world that they use the Polkadot solution and they bring their user with them to use on Polkadot. So this is also kind of something that will bring a lot of users into Polkadot. I mean, we have seen Deloitte with 𝗕𝗏. Deloitte is a very big, is one of the big four, so a very important player in our economy. So I think more like that will draw the attention of people using Polkadot, either from from these players, so these players' customers, or like just because of the whole how to say, like they draw attention, right, from other people, and other people will use it. Yeah, I don't know. There have been like a lot of stuff lately. I've seen on X. This I don't know. It's maybe it doesn't make sense, but this people are all about also this meme coin, and they attach there's this meme coin, and Polkadot doesn't have meme coins. So I've seen like not a proposal, but like someone saying about maybe we should launch a meme coin and this kind of stuff. Like I think we will see different ways of bringing user to Polkadot. Some stuff maybe people don't agree, some stuff, but this was also what happened with other ecosystem. It's a public permissionless blockchain, so everybody can interact with it, everybody can propose stuff. You have the OpenGov, everybody can ask for upgrades or like funding for things, and it's in the end there is there's little that you can control, or it's not a centralized thing where it has how to say, where you have a few people that are deciding about what it's done. You have this collective of people that are voting, and whatever the community feels it will be. So it's I think we see definitely more user to Polkadot, and right now with all the parachains, it's well positioned, I think, for the next wave of adoption to get the user. I don't have doubt about that. I think the main problem for Polkadot will be retaining the user in the next kind of bear market. So retaining the user into the ecosystem, because attracting the user, it's kind of easy during a wave of adoption where people are crazy and there is like a lot of hype about everything. It's very easy to get people doing things, but afterwards the product must be really good in order to keep the people inside.
Yeah. Price go up really attracts people to ecosystems. But talking about killer apps, I think definitely the OpenGov, like you said, is one of the killer apps of Polkadot. What do you think about all the activity that has been going on there? What are your thoughts on how the treasury should be spent? Do you have any opinions about it? A lot of people, for example, disagreeing with marketing, budgeting. A lot of other people disagreeing on maybe Polkadot using the treasury funds to subsidize the creation of new apps or the sustainability of new apps or wallets. What do you think about what's going on in there?
Oh, it's tough. I think in the end, it's like, as I said, it's like a permissionless system, right? It's open. And the governance is also very open at the moment. I mean, the first iteration of the government, you had the council, the technical committee, there's still a lot of centralization of decision, but right now it's this is gone. So you can propose and then people vote, and if it passes, you get the funding, or you get the upgrade, or whatever you proposed, you will get. So I'm not generally against the marketing, using the treasury for marketing. I think like we have really good content creators in the ecosystem, and we also need to understand that Polkadot is a complicated machine, and we need people to explain it in a very simple ways. We also have a lot of tools, and we need people to to explain how these tools are used. In order to do it, we need to understand how the system works. So content creators in the ecosystem are kind of like a little bit as a technical educator, like they need to be technical, they need to understand a lot about the ecosystem. And I think you need to invest a lot of time to do it. Also, you need to, use a little bit of your funds in order to test. And I'm sure like some stuff goes wrong, and, like, it's like, I'm not against using treasury funds. I'm against using treasury funds for, sponsoring content that that is damaging the reputation of the ecosystem. I don't know, if someone is doing a content and is damaging the ecosystem, but that content was not funded by the treasury, I mean, you cannot avoid that. That's okay, right? But if you are giving out treasury funding to sponsor content that is damaging the ecosystem, definitely like is good. It's bad publicity, for the ecosystem. It doesn't make really sense to me. And of course, I have nothing like, for technical upgrades, of course, I'm totally in favor, like everything. Yes, good, the treasury. Now you also have the decentralized future program that will play a key role on, on funding projects that are focused on technical developments or education in order to grow the awareness around the Polkadot brand and the Polkadot network. But we have seen lots of, a couple of proposals that they spark the the users, like attention and stuff like that. But I think overall it's good that there are proposals that are discussed heavily, and they become famous, because they make a lot of people think. There are a lot of people in the ecosystem that they hold DOT token and they don't vote, most of them. So currently the turnout on the referenda, it's barely reaching 1%. And this is a sign that most of the people out there are holding DOT, but they are not voting. But I have seen a lot of an increase, in voting activity around the specific referenda, and a lot of people also starting voting for the first time. So it means people are waking up, they're starting to understand, oh, I know I have a lot of DOT, but I also have a lot of power, and I can use this power for the good of the ecosystem. So that's the whole idea around it, right? It's not that if I buy, I don't know, 1,000 dots, I have the same power as a person that buys 1 dot. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Why am I doing it? So it's good that people that have a lot of holding, they have a lot of power, but they should put this power into use. And I think this is something that we probably will see more in the future.
Yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned about this voting power. Definitely, it's interesting that the people who hold more dots have more voting power because they have more skin in the game. They have more to lose if the project doesn't grow or whatever. But what do you think about people who would say that, oh, just like the whales control the decision at the end of the game? Do you think maybe there could be at some point in the future a solution where maybe one person, one vote or something like this? Or are you more inclined to this logic about the more dot you have, the more skin in the game, so you should have more voting power and more decision.
Yeah, and proof of stake system, once one vote, no, it doesn't work. One account, one vote doesn't work. You know, like, but then you have like big accounts that are splitting their, you know, their holdings in many accounts. But you also incentivize people that are misbehaving, because this is a misbehavior, you know. And most of the people that have a lot of tokens will not split their account. They will change the ecosystem. They will go somewhere else. So you will remain in an ecosystem that has bad actor, that has only bad actors, right? In my opinion. So it's like, it doesn't work like that. You know, like a proof of stake system is kind of like a country, you can see like that, but it's not exactly like it, you know, because the security of the chain is basically dictated by how much economy is blocked on the chain itself. And if you do, you know, this kind of reasoning, you risk that a lot of security is compromised. So definitely this is an important point in my mind that tells me the current system is good as it is. Again, like, of course, right now with 1% of turnout in OpenGov, if somebody has millions of DOT, of course it steers the wheel. But also I have seen also very interesting dynamics, because at the start we have seen, you know, nothing was passing. When Polkadot was launched, it was very difficult to make a lot of referenda pass. Then there were a couple of whales waking up, and they were passing everything, okay? But then we have seen that there were a couple of referenda that got a lot of traction, a lot of social engagement, a lot of people not happy about that. And even if it was passing, you had a lot of accounts against. But of course, it was not kind of enough at the start to fight the whale that was make it pass. But then the whale kind of understood that because most of the communities was against, if he was supporting it, this proposal, it was kind of damaging his own reputation. So they kind of stopped, you know, to do this. So I think at the end, you know, here you can see again the power of the community, that OpenGov is not only about whales, and it's not true that the whale directly, yes, they decide the outcome of the referenda, but they're also very, you know, focused on their own brand and own reputation. If most of the people are against, if you have like, you know, 400 accounts, they voted no, and you have like 10 accounts, they voted yes, and that at the referendum is starting to pass, you know, it's passing just because those 10 accounts are big, maybe it will pass the first time. You know, the second time will not pass. It's very difficult because you cannot ignore the social kind of component of a referendum. You know, if most of the community is against, in the end, if you want to, you know, to have the heart of the community, to gain the heart of the community, you need to follow the sentiment. You know, you need to kind of to listen to these voices. You cannot just because you have a stake be you know, rude and say no, I want it to pass. Yeah, you can do it, but in the end, we have seen a referendum didn't pass, even if there are big whales that were voting for. Right, in the end, it didn't pass. So I think it's, you know, we had a couple of situations that make me more confident about the fact that it's not only about the whales. And of course, if more people vote, this whale will have, the power of this whale will be diluted. You know, if there is like 10, 20% turnout, I mean, this whale will not have a lot of power anymore. The problem is right now, that is the start, that we are launching it, that is, you know, it's still not even a year that we launched OpenGov and Polkadot. It was launched like in the summer. So we are really early. and it's a very bold social experiment. There's nothing like that right now in the world. So it's more difficult to vote for my own country than voting on OpenGov. They made it really easy to do it, very easy to propose. You know, you can get your referendum out there in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's a very powerful, as you said, it's a killer app. It's a very powerful tool what we have. And who knows?
That's
Maybe
very
countries
fun.
will adopt it in the future. Maybe countries will use kind of a sort of OpenGov like application for voting and for their citizens. Why not? I mean,
Yeah,
definitely better
that's.
than what we have right now.
I would definitely love to see something like that happening. For example, with uh, make it really, really easy to launch a chain with just like this function of OpenGov, and so even like companies, universities, like a group of friends could create like a treasury and have like this OpenGov system. So I think that would be really interesting to see that happen at some point in time, where you can launch like a really simple low maintenance chain where you have this killer app that it's OpenGov and you can use it for plenty of different things. And also, like you mentioned, it's really easy now to launch like a referendum now. Before you had to do
Yes.
all this intrinsics and all this complicated stuff, and tooling like Polkadot have made it like extremely easy in a couple clicks to launch this type of proposal. So hopefully we
No,
see
yeah,
more tooling
we
like that.
definitely, yeah. If you think like how Polkadot was 1 year ago, it changed so much. You know, I joined the foundation last year in August, and I remember, you know, most of the tooling was about the Polkadot JS. You know, there were not like user-friendly tools and stuff like that. But now, you know, you have so many more tools, so many more like things you can do. A lot of processes have been simplified for the user. So it definitely made a lot of progress in 1 year.
Yeah, and well, parachain is also 2 years old only, so there's the time to shine. It's this upcoming 2024, I think. And to start closing this conversation, I would like to ask you, maybe you can highlight 2 or 3 parachains that stand out for you in the ecosystem, and maybe you have any ideas of parachains that you would like to see built that are not existing now.
Oh, I cannot like make preferences. But of course, as a user, I've been using like you know, the DEX. You know, I've been using the Bitcoin DeFi. I've been using the decentralized social media. Yeah, I have to be honest. With all the tools that are out there, I have not been using
Of
a lot of
course.
them. But the one that I used, they're good.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty confident that a lot of tools that are on Polkadot, they're actually really good apps. And
And
you know,
any ideas
now
that
you
you
also,
can share for for people? Maybe there's builders listening now, and you think there's something missing that you would like to see built.
so something missing. I don't know. I don't have something on top of my mind. I'm
Okay,
actually
okay.
very surprised sometimes when I go to parachain.info. I'm actually very surprised about how the teams come up with ideas around parachains. I mean, I would never, you know, think about it myself. So they go beyond like sometimes my imagination. So it's kind of really good because you have like really bold ideas as a, you know, as parachain teams. And I'm quite confident this feeling of mine will not die anytime soon. I think we will see like stuff that is really advanced and quite visionary out there.
I appreciate your time, and I don't know, maybe you want to share anything with the audience before we finish.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot again for this call. I will say that please, if you have question, you can reach out to me at 𝗕𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗿 on all social media channel. I'm on Reddit, Twitter. You can send me a message there. And go to the wiki. The Polkadot wiki is out there, and it's an open source platform. You can read it. You can file an issue. You can contribute, and I will be happy to review and discuss changes that you want to improve the wiki. So yeah, please go to the wiki to learn about Polkadot if you want to have more insights into the ecosystem.
Amazing. Well, thank you, brother. Have a great holidays, and talk to you soon.
Thank you, Matteo. You too.
Bye bye. Thank
See
you.
you. See you.